This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation, welcome back to what I think is another long-awaited, maybe not, I'm going to tell myself it's been long-awaited, episode of Bells with Books, where, of course, we talk about books and go on random tangents. Of course, I don't do tangents alone, or maybe I do, and she just puts up with them. But either way, I'm not alone here. I have my wonderful and gorgeous friend, Bianca.
Hello! And no, sometimes I join you on the random tangents, so it's a mutual thing.
This is true. This is very true. I almost said that in my straw. It made a very weird noise. Sorry if anyone heard it.
I didn't hear that one.
You. Was it last month I scared the crap out of you?
Yeah, I think it was the
month before. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I apparently yawned and it made a creepy noise.
Sound like you were being whisked away to Oz.
I, in some days, would invite that very much. Although the weather was bad enough here yesterday, I thought I was being whisked away to Oz, but that's okay. How are things in your neck of the very hot woods?
Hot. Although today is the first day in almost 2 weeks that it has not rained so far.
You can gladly send that here. It stormed really bad last night. Like, my yard is dying.
We got 26 inches of rain in 18 hours.
Jeez, I don't want that much. I don't want
I told my boss, I will start working on my arc. I will get to work when I get to work.
There you go. Well, anything cool happened to you? Have you done anything fun since we last reported? I want to say since we talked last, but you and I talk almost like every day or every other, so I can't use that phrase. So.
One thing that has happened is that we have both of us now met our yearly reading goal.
Yes, we have.
And it's only July.
Are you going to up yours? I'm not. I just left it alone, and I'm just going to keep going. I'm not going to up it.
Yeah, I'm not going to up it like officially on Goodreads, but I've set my own personal one. I'm going to see if I can get to 75.
Okay. I was thinking about it because last year you were like, oh, Miranda's going to make triple digits. And if you remember, I almost did. But I'm kind of scared to push myself because I'm afraid I'll hit book burnout or book slump. But I mean, I think it would be really cool to hit triple digits.
I want you to do it so that I can say I know someone who hit triple digits.
Oh, I know someone that read like 450 books last year. And I was like, how? I don't understand.
So this isn't like a problem or anything, but like when you did your house, I think you like have your mouth too close to the mic or something, and you sound like Terminator.
That is very interesting. No, I was no closer to the mic, but I was like, it was coming from my chest. It was deep. Like that howl was for real.
So your chest voice is actually Arnold Schwarzenegger. Got it.
I guess so. Still, how do you read 450 books a year? Please, someone tell me, because
it has to be short audiobooks. That's the only thing I can think. Or maybe they're reading like not picture books, but like kids books.
No, she ain't. I know most of hers. She said she does have, there are some novellas on there, but most of hers are 350 pages or more.
Well, then I don't know.
She rereads, like Kindle, paperback, hardback. I'm like, can you please tell me how? She's like, I don't know, I just read. I'm like, oh my God.
Which I will say, the only reason I've been able to read so much this year is because I've basically stopped watching TV. Like, the only time we watch TV is if, like, I'm getting ready in the mornings to go to work.
Same, honestly.
And while I'm, like, cooking dinner. Beyond that, I don't watch TV.
I think I said this joke to you the other day, so it's probably old for you, but someone asked me about watching a show. I don't even remember what they were asking, but I was like, sorry, don't know her.
Yeah.
I don't. I have read a lot this year. I noticed the other day, too, I was thinking to myself when I was in the car, I've been listening to a lot more music lately as well. So, like, this has been the year of, like, heavy music and books. I haven't even been listening to the podcasts that I listen to personally as much as well. I don't know if that's been the same for you either. But
I go through podcasting moods. So
yeah. I think it's probably the same with anything. Books, podcasts, go through moods. And with those moods, I scroll Book Talk, occasionally TikTok. I get in moods with that too, where I don't touch TikTok for 2 or 3 days, or then I overload on TikTok. So that's where you and I get a lot of. There in Instagram, I would say. I feel like between that and like word of mouth is how I find out about a lot of books, or just browsing the bookstore. But you discovered some things on the Book Talk that actually you surprised me with when I looked at our show notes today. I was like, excuse me, what? So please tell everyone what we got going on.
So if our listeners remember, for the month of February, we read The Perfect Marriage by Jeneva Rose. And she announced on TikTok that The Perfect Marriage is not only has it been optioned for either television or TV, either one. She doesn't have any news about that. But,
right.
Excuse me. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that. So excited I lost my voice. But she announced that The Perfect Marriage is getting a sequel. And I figured you would be very excited about that.
I know. I had lots of thoughts and opinions about that book, right? And I don't shy away from her thoughts and opinions on that book. But that book led me to read her other books, and she has slowly very much become like an author that it's like auto-buy for me. So you saying that, I'm both excited and I'm a little like, I don't know if leery is the right word. I don't.
Maybe apprehensive.
Yeah, apprehensive. That's a much better word, because of the problems that you and I did find in The Perfect Marriage, like the issues that we had with the book. I hope she kind of buttons those up some.
Well, since you've read some of her, I know you've read at least one of her other books. I don't know if you've read more, but
I think I've read the newest one that just came out, You Shouldn't Have Come Here. I read One of Us is Dead. She also has another new book that she announced, I think like last month or so, but it's actually totally different genre. It's like rom-com.
Well, since you've read those, are those laid out better and have more like real world consistencies to them?
They did. One of them, they're all like super rich women that live in like a suburb of Atlanta. So it was kind of cool. Like when she was referencing certain places, I knew like the area-ish. But it was, everyone in the story was like super rich and like doing very well for themselves. So there was some of it that I was a little like, felt like I was watching Desperate Housewives. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that book. You Shouldn't Have Come Here. I actually did not see the twist on that one. And you know, I love when I get to the end of the book and something hits me where I was like, what?
Yeah.
It is laid out a little bit better, but it has moments where it's kind of all over the place. But when you get to the end and you find the real ending, like what actually happened, all of the all over the place suddenly clicks in and makes sense, in my opinion. I think both of those have come out better, in my opinion, as well, than The Perfect Marriage did. I also know The Perfect Marriage was written, I mean, it was like her first book, I think.
Yeah, it came out in 2020.
Yeah, and we just found it like, what, last year?
Yeah.
Was it last year? Yeah. So, I mean, her writing, and this is with any author, their writing progresses or changes or gets better, or, I don't want to say better, because I liked The Perfect Marriage. It was just that there were, if you didn't listen to that episode, which I highly recommend you do, because Bianca and I had some funny things to say. But there were some things with like law and procedure and like how small town police departments work and things that really irritated me, that were inaccurate. So that's really what a lot of the problems I had. And then you and I had a problem with like a just randomly thrown in there kind of ick scene as well.
Yes.
So
I still think about that scene.
But, yeah.
It haunts me.
Same. And you know, I will read some stuff now. And like, I didn't like it. It felt very.
It just felt icky.
It felt icky. It felt like non-consent.
Yeah.
I know it was. We know it was, but it felt like there was lack of.
There was lack of communication there to the reader.
Yeah. May I? Can we? I felt like that was lacking. But anyway, I digress. Tangent number 1. Okay.
Well, another book news or social media update is that The Summer I Turned Pretty season 2 is officially out on Amazon Prime. Thank you, Jenny Han.
Thank you, Jenny. I have heard a lot of people saying real tears were shed. Again, I have not watched much television, so I don't know.
I have not started it. I watched season 1. I loved it. But I love anything Jenny Han, so I'm a Jenny Han lifer.
Yeah.
I have not started season 2 yet though, but everything I'm seeing, everyone is just crying, which I obviously read the book, so I know what happens. I'm just like, yeah, right. That tracks. And I don't know if I'm in the right mindset for that right now. Because it starts out sad. It starts out sad. I'm not going to lie to you.
I can't remember. I read all of them because I remember we had a discussion about them when I read them, but I don't remember what happened. I'm sure if I picked the book up or just kind of like gave it a second, it'll come back. But yeah, I remember I think there will be tears. So yeah.
But I'm also going to shout out. You really do. I'm also going to shout out
Susan, my sister who also cried that thing.
Well, I'm also going to shout out the Swifties because we are being blessed with several Taylor Swift songs for season 2. For those who don't know, Jenny Han is a huge Taylor Swift fan. And in the first season, I think we had 4 Taylor Swift songs. And this season, we're getting 9. And 2 of them were used for promo. And oh my gosh, they ripped my heart out. They were so well done. So I'm excited.
You know, here's what I think needs to happen. Okay. You gave me an idea. I was actually thinking about this today, and you just really solidified it for me. I think we should make Spotify playlists based on books or book series you really like, and I'm going to let you have full reign of all of those that have Swiftie songs in them. You just tear it up, okay? And mess up my algorithm even more.
For those that don't know, I love Taylor Swift. She is mother, okay? And I will do anything for that woman, pretty much. I've seen her twice in concert now, both life-changing experiences. So if you have any Taylor Swift commentary that is not hater-related, let's talk.
I don't hate. She's just, I don't find her as mother, but I appreciate that you find her as mother, and I celebrate you for it.
For those that don't know, everyone on TikTok refers to her as mother. So,
yeah, I knew that. But you got to have your take it to church mother experience twice, and I got to have mine a few weeks with my bae.
Yes, yes, you did.
Yes, that was fantastic. For those that don't know, you should absolutely see a Pink concert. It will change your life. If you are a crier, you will cry. I cried. It was fantastic. In all honesty, the reason I cried is she brought her guitarist out on stage with her, and they did a song just by themselves, and he has lost both of his parents, and she has lost her dad, and she talked about losing their parents and then sang this song. And I was bawling because I am also a person who has, unfortunately, my dad was a couple weeks before 50, have lost a parent, and it just really hit me, and I cried. And then there was another point where I realized, oh my God, I'm seeing Pink, live, and her voice is amazing, and I cried again. It's okay. I think 3 times total is what we counted. I texted Bianca, and she laughed at me, and it was okay.
If it makes you feel any better, the first time I saw Taylor, I cried through the first 15 minutes of the concert. So, and then
it took me a little bit before I was in. Yeah.
And then this time I cried during. She has a song called Marjorie. It's about her deceased grandmother on her mom's side. Mm-hmm. And no one thought she would ever perform that at a tour because it's just like it's so personal and stuff.
Exactly.
But the night before, so when we went, she was doing 3 concerts in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Because you went to Nashville.
Yes, and we went to the Saturday show. Well, the Friday show is when the audience started the trend of when she started singing Marjorie, everyone would take out their phones and light up the flashlights for the song. Mm-hmm. Taylor cried on stage when everyone did that for her.
Aww.
And we continued it on night 2 in Nashville, and she cried again. So I had the privilege of saying I made Taylor Swift cry. But that's what she gets for performing a song about her dead grandmother.
Right. I mean, I will say I'd never experienced that before because I don't know the last concert. But having everyone turn on their cell phone light and watching it like ping, 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 and then become like a huge C when she's singing this gut-wrenching song about losing her dad and how she'll see him later.
Oh my God. Yes.
That was beautiful. Beautiful.
These singers, man.
Chef's kiss. Both these ladies. Phenomenal women.
Well, hey, we have another chef's kiss to a few other people.
We sure do.
If you are not following our Instagram, then you missed out on a fantastic giveaway that we were so fortunate enough to be able to do. And I want to congratulate our winner, Kelly. Yay, Kelly.
Yay, Kelly. Woo, 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 woo. Sorry, I'm not great at that.
But Kelly won our giveaway. And we also have quite a few new followers on our Instagram page, too. So welcome, new followers.
I know. I was scrolling through the followers we have, and I was like, because I figured it'd be like a bunch of people we know. And we do have some of our bestest friends following us. Thank you, guys. But like, I didn't know the majority of these people. So, hey, I love you.
Welcome, new listeners.
Hey.
But we do want to say a huge thank you to the authors that contributed their works for this giveaway. We really appreciate it. And I really hope Kelly is able to enjoy all of her goodies soon.
Yes. They're fantastic. So if you can go check out, we'll update it so that we can say closed just in case anyone forgets. But if you go check it out, you can check out the authors. They're actually several of my favorite authors. So thank you, Megan Sienna Deutsch, Rose Betancourt, who you can find some of her older works under Rose Pressey, and Stacey Rourke. You guys are phenomenal, and I love you all. Yeah. I hope Kelly loves you guys too. Kelly, I really do. I hope that you love them. Please don't tell me if you don't. I found most all of these authors, I will say, either due to my love of audiobooks and then tapping on the narrator of that book and saying what else did they narrate, or social media when it was just the days of like very basic Instagram and Facebook. So I found them that way, which means there's a lot of books that get found that way. And a thing that I got to thinking about, especially with one of the new books, Fourth Wing, because it got so blown up. So I'm referring to them as hype books. So I presented a question to Bianca about how she feels about hype books. And like, basically, how do you feel about them? And do you find yourself being like, oh, I have to read it, I have to know? You know, because it's not just Fourth Wing. Like, this happened years ago, and you worked at a bookstore, so you will remember, because I don't remember how old you were when this happened, but maybe you worked at the bookstore already, was when the 50 Shades came out. And it was, like, way hyped. And Facebook was still fairly new to those people that weren't, like, in college. But I remember it was huge. Like, it was in all the magazines and stuff like that. So that's what I mean by hype book. Something that is just blown up, like ACOTAR, Fourth Wing is the most recent. Like, do you tend to gravitate towards them and be like, oh my gosh, I have to know? Or do you look at it and go, oh my God, it's so hyped, I'm probably going to be disappointed?
So I have a story for this. I was working at the bookstore when 50 Shades became big. Like, I think it was already published when I started working there, but it wasn't like huge yet.
No, because it came huge several years after publication of book 1, I believe.
Yeah. But I was working at the bookstore as it was starting to get big. And so I was like, I know nothing about I'm one of those people that I like to go into books mainly blind. I really don't want to know much about it. I just knew that it was Twilight fan fiction.
Do you know what's funny is I was a huge Twilight fan, and I did not know that for the long, even after reading, I was like,
well, that was really the only thing I knew about it, and I loved Twilight. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this. I'm going to pick it up.
Oh, no.
So, when I worked at the bookstore, they had a checkout program, kind of like a library. You could check out a book for X amount of days and bring it back and stuff like that. So I did that.
I didn't know that.
And I got to I think chapter 5, maybe. It hadn't.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It hadn't gotten bad yet, but I could see where it was going, and I was like, you know what, this is not for me. And that was my first interaction with our hype books. Now, if we translate that to modern day, if you open TikTok and get on any kind of books on your For You page, you'll see that the hype books right now are Fourth Wing, ACOTAR, not even ACOTAR. It's just anything Sarah J. Maas. Colleen Hoover.
A lot of people don't. And she is our queen, collective together. Colleen Hoover is mine and Bianca's queen. We met her together and everything. But she is a hype author.
Yes.
She is.
She got really big during the pandemic.
Yeah, she did. Crazy.
So that's what we mean when we say hype books. It's just books that you can't scroll more than 3 videos without seeing something about it. So in essence, and I can't even say this, I don't think I've read any of the big hype books, with the caveat that since we last recorded, I did manage to get my hands on a copy of Fourth Wing. I have not started it yet because I have a couple of library books that I need to read first and return, and then I plan on getting to it. So I will report back on that.
Okay.
But I do have 3 friends who have either completed Fourth Wing or are almost done with it, and they say it is worth the hype.
I have completed. I really, really liked it. But there's a scene I'm thinking of that, without saying a lot of words, I was in mind, and I was trying to count how many C words were said in said scene.
Yeah. I've been warned about it.
There's 2, maybe 3. I can't remember. I know 2 for sure, without question. But I think placement-wise, you may be able to be like, oh, this is happening, move forward.
Yeah, that's what everyone told me when I told my other friend group. And they were like, yeah, I think you can skip through those parts. And I was like, okay, cool. Because they were like, the plot is amazing and the story is amazing. There's just these parts. And I'm like, okay.
The plot is really good. I will say I really enjoyed it. And I was heavily worried. Hyped. And what's funny is this one became hype all because of the way the publisher chose to print it. So for those of you that aren't aware, which I don't feel like how you'd be listening to us and not be aware of this, but for those of you that are not aware, I had never heard of the author prior to Fourth Wing. I won't lie. Very sorry, Rebecca.
Yarros.
That's how you pronounce Yarros? Yeah. Very sorry, Rebecca Yarros, but your writing is great if that's how your other books are. I enjoyed your book immensely. But I was very leery. I will use that word this time. It does fit. I was very hesitant because sometimes I worry a lot with the hype books if it really is worth it. I really enjoyed this, and what I really, really love, and this gives nothing away, is it's not her main character is not damsel in distress. Although, what is one gripe I have about, like, this isn't really YA, this is new adult because of the scenes that are in it, but what is my one gripe I hate always? I think you'll remember. With heroines, it's always what?
Oh, help me, help me.
Well, not just that one, but I'm not very pretty. I don't look like the other girls.
Pretending to be oblivious to, like, being a pick-me girl.
Yeah, the difference is the main character is not really entirely a pick-me girl, because what I can gather is everything she described to me sounds like a young woman living with, like, fibromyalgia or Ehlers. I always say family member that has it, and I still say it. The Ehlers-Danlos, you know what I'm trying to say? Where the joints, like, will actually physically swell.
Okay.
It's an autoimmune disease. But you can tell by the way she's talking about, like, she's not ever been like her mom and her sister because of these things. Like, she's not saying, like, oh, I'm frail, but she's like, I get tired easier, and my joints swell, and I have pain for no reason. And I was like, I really love this, because I have fibromyalgia, and I thought it was fantastic to read about. Maybe that's not what she intended for the main character to have, but it felt very relatable, and I really loved that. And I will say her sing parts, because some of them I'm like, bleh, bleh. These were, I thought they weren't bad. I thought they were pretty good. I mean, and everything in her book is very consensual. There's some really, like, badass fight scenes, in my opinion. So I would also say worth the hype. I don't remember what I rated it, though, and that sounds really bad.
I want to say you put it at 4.
I think I put it at 4, and I probably would have put it at 5. I don't know what was missing for me, and I wish I had, like, typed this out in our notes, because I remember when I finished it, there was something that I was like, when I do talk about this book, there were a few things that I was like, and when it first started, I will say I was not sure how I felt. I was getting some Hunger Game vibes. I was getting some, which I think you tend to do. You probably do tend to, like, that fall into the same kind of area. But there's dragons, and the dragons are cool. These dragons are cool.
And you're not the first person to say that. My other friend, Brittany, she said the same thing. She got Hunger Games vibes from it.
Yeah, at the very beginning, when you start it, you'll see, like, I had straight up Hunger Games vibes. But the addition of the dragons is fantastic, and I really liked that. There's a twist that happens that I kind of thought was going to happen, and I was like, maybe not. And then it did again. And it was the ending of the book, which it ended the way it did because there's more to the series. I don't remember if it's going to be a duology or a trilogy or how many there are.
I just know the second one comes out in November.
Yeah, it comes out in November. Again, another gorgeous cover, which I think I forgot to finish saying that. I'll finish that in a second. Another gorgeous cover. I actually ended up ordering the German hardback of Fourth Wing because of how beautiful it is. No, my German is not that great. I cannot read it. Phenomenal, and I couldn't get my hands on an English copy. So,
oh well, the edition that I got. So their first run of Fourth Wing came with sprayed edges. It was gorgeous.
That's what made it hype. That's actually why it all happened. Is someone bought it that knew her works and shared this beautiful sprayed edges with dragons around the edge book, I think, on Book Talk, and it blew up because everybody was like, I want sprayed edges with dragons.
Well, that was only the first run. Every print from basically July 2023 on out will not have those sprayed edges.
No.
So my copy does not have the sprayed edges.
I think it's Fairy Loot, which is a book box. I saw a post by them that they will have, it won't be like in the fairy loot box. So you don't have to subscribe to the box. But I saw a post on Instagram that said they are working with Rebecca and the publisher, and they will be a special run through them only of these really cool sprayed edges. So if you're into that, like you want that, you live for that.
It's not going to be the original sprayed edges, though.
No, it's
going to be
it's
going to be different.
Yeah, but it is still supposed to be like a really pretty sprayed edge. I'm really wanting that. And if you don't mind that you can't read it, I highly recommend the German copy because it's beautiful. But I do find it entertaining, and I was very curious. So, to all of our new followers on Instagram, if you would like to chime in on the discussion, or if you want to chime in on the discussion on our Goodreads, because we can have discussions, I'll add it there as a discussion. Like, how do you feel about hype books? Or what's the first hype book that you really loved? Or what's the first hype book that you actually were like, like, tell me how you feel, what you feel. Yeah. So, do you have a hype book that you can think of off the top of your head that you've hated before we kind of move forward? Because
I cannot get into it's not ACOTAR. It's her other series that starts with Throne of Glass.
That's my absolute favorite of all favorite series ever.
I tried to read Throne of Glass. This was probably like 10, 15 years ago. But I hated every second of that page. I am so sorry to all of the Sarah J. Maas stands out there, but I just couldn't get into it.
My love runs so deep for that series that my D&D character is named after them and based on the main character of the series. And I have a tattoo that is a combination of the specific D&D campaign that I played that character in and Sarah's books. So...
Well, maybe one of these days I will give it another try.
That's okay. It just goes to show that not every book is for everyone, which brought us to another discussion that is going to be our main topic for this month, and we hope that you can join along with it. And that's all about beach reads, because as we said, it's hot, hot, hot in Germany and Florida both, and that means it's July. So beach reads it is. So I actually looked up, because we had this discussion when we decided to do this, what is a beach read? And I think we even texted back and forth a little. And there were a few things that, like, people are saying are beach reads, but the both of us were like, are they a beach read? So, what do you classify as a beach read?
We both made the argument that you can take any book you want to the beach. But,
absolutely.
I think for most people, when you think of a beach read, you think of something kind of lighthearted, easy to get into and easy to put down. Because if you're at the beach, especially if you have kids, you got to put it down, reapply sunscreen, rescue them from whatever creature is hidden in the water, stuff like that. So I think when people typically, when they say beach read, they mean easy reading.
That's what I thought too. I Googled it, and according to CBS News, a beach read is about helping take you away, getting away from it all. And it says the perfect beach read is an easy page turner that still has substance that you can complete like on vacation. And so they even have a list, if you want to go check that out, about the perfect, this article was from 2021, but I still think it would be relevant, like perfect beach reads. And I even Googled like top beach reads before I chose my book to see if it would classify. Because I also know a lot of people that when they go to the beach, they either take, and this is just my, after looking at all of my friends that do like beach reads, and I'm using air quotes like you guys can see me, I've noticed a trend, and maybe you'll agree or disagree, that it either tends to be like a rom-com or like a thriller. And I don't know why, but it's one of those. Like, to me, it's either a thriller or a rom-com, it seems.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the one I chose is neither of those.
Really? So mine kind of does fit. I'll just go ahead. I'm going to let you go first. My genre does fall into the like thriller mystery, which is actually a book that you have read before, and I think you even talked about it briefly.
Yes.
But since yours fits neither one of those genres, where does yours fit, and what did you choose?
So, if you walk in any Books A Million or Barnes & Noble or like any big bookstore like that during the summer, they're going to have like a beach reads table. I can't tell you how many of those tables I have set up in my life.
Yeah.
And like Miranda said, a good portion of them are going to be rom-coms. However, there is one author who is always on these tables. Her name is Elin Hilderbrand.
Yeah.
And she writes more, I would say, drama books. Like,
okay.
I don't know how else to put it. Like, just standard fiction books where stuff happens, basically.
Like women's fiction? Would you
I've only read this one because I'm gonna be honest. I picked this because Elin Hilderbrand is kind of like considered the queen of quintessential beach reads. So I felt bad not reading one because I've never read her. And she's always popular with everyone coming in the store and grabbing their beach reads to go on vacation. So this one is called The Rumor. I think it's her newest one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Just kidding. This is from 2016. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, so I chose The Rumor by Elin Hilderbrand. A quick rundown of this book. It centers around a pair of best friends who live in Nantucket. And from the outside, they have perfect marriages, beautiful kids. They tend to hang out on Saturday nights, and nothing can ever go wrong until a rumor starts. And the rumor kind of makes its way through the town. And we all know how rumors go. You hear one version of this. Yeah, you hear one version, and it's completely distorted from the next person's point of view. And what this book does is it not only follows the pair of best friends and what actually happens, but it also follows the rumor through the town.
Ooh.
With that being said, this was not one of my favorite books this year. I struggle finish this book, you guys. If this is your preferred genre of book, all the power to you. It's just not mine. One of my main gripes with this book was that there were no chapters. It is told from 5 different points of view. That's a lot of people to try to keep track of.
It is, but is it broken down like, instead of like chapter, is it like David and then the chapter Megan?
Yes, that's exactly how it's broken down.
I can handle that then. At first, when you said there's no chapters, I was like, I have seen books where there's no like real division of chapters other than like page breaks, and I'm like, what is happening? I don't like this.
Yeah, that's how The Appeal was. I talked about that earlier this year. That was one of my first reads this year. That's how The Appeal was. No, this one, like, it at least tells you what point of view you're getting. And it also breaks it up into the month. So I think every 80 pages or so, you get a new month. This takes place over a summer. So I think it starts in April and it goes through August, I want to say. I'm checking real quick. And also, one of the daughters' names is Allegra, and I just kept thinking about the antihistamine medication. So that really threw me off.
Which Allegra was a name before they made that product, but still, I would totally be doing the same thing.
Well, and she was a little brat, so it just made me hate her even more. I was like, you have a horrible name, and you're a horrible person. This matches.
That is complicated when you are reading a story or book or character. You remember I struggled with this with the book I was supposed to read for a review, and I kept texting you going, but I hate her.
Yeah.
I loved the book in the end, but I hated the main character so much.
So I'm not going to dwell too much on my book just because I didn't enjoy it. And I don't want that to cloud anyone else's point of view that may want to check this book out. So I'm just going to give
Okay,
you a quick rundown of like the characters and kind of their arc throughout the book so that maybe you can make the decision of if you want to read it or not.
Okay, so maybe to go with that, because there are probably people that listen to us that do follow like likes. Maybe you could just say, without spoiling it, what some of the reasons were you didn't like it.
So one of the main reasons I didn't like it, one, was that there were no chapters. It was all the point of view narration. There were way too many characters to keep track of. I needed a spreadsheet for real. Because not only did you have 5 points of view, but each of those points of view mentions other people in the town that you have to keep up with. It was just a lot. It was a lot. It was slightly overwhelming. Because like I said,
I think that much on a beach read.
Exactly. They're supposed to be easy to pick up and put down. And I'm sitting here trying to remember, who did Tom tell Jake to tell Rudy what, huh? So, yeah.
Okay.
So the pair of best friends, I would call them the main characters because you get their points of view the most, I think. So you have Madeline, who is a published author, but she is struggling with writer's block right now. She is married to Trevor. She rents out an apartment in town as like her workspace. And the realtor, his name is Eddie. And he is married to Madeline's best friend, who is Grace. So they're all connected. And what happens in the very first few pages of the book is that a passerby in town sees Madeline at this apartment with Eddie. And that's where the rumor starts, is that both Eddie and Madeline are having an affair and cheating on their spouses / best friends with the other. Your next point of view, so you get Madeline's point of view, you get Grace's point of view, Eddie's point of view, and you also get Hope, who is Grace's son, Grace's daughter, or one of her daughters. Hope and Allegra are twins, and Allegra is dating Brick, who is Madeline's son. It's all intertwined. So you have those 4 points of view, but the 5th point of view is from the town of Nantucket. Like, you get to hear the rumor of Eddie and Madeline being together through the gossip mill. It basically boils down to they're living their life. Madeline's struggling with writing. She's also kind of struggling with her relationship with Trevor. Grace has hired a man named Benton to help with her landscaping, basically. Her goal is to get into a huge landscaping magazine and be known as one of those women with the best garden in all of New England or something like that. She's one of those women. Grace and Benton went to high school together. She always had a crush on Benton, but he ended up moving away and doing other stuff, so she ended up marrying Eddie. But when Benton's back in town, that crush comes back, and they end up kissing in the kitchen. So Grace is actually cheating on Eddie. Eddie is not cheating on Grace. We also have Allegra.
This is a lot already.
Exactly. I'm not even getting deep into it.
My brain.
Allegra, one of Grace's daughters, Hope's sister. Like I said, she's dating Brick, who is Grace's son. And Allegra is constantly cheating on Brick. And Hope is just, from her point of view, she's like, I hate her. She's such I forget how she phrased it. Basically calling her a whore, sleeping around on Brick. She's also doing drugs and drinking alcohol. And they're only 15 or 16. I think they just turned 16.
There's a lot going on in this town. It's a small town, I'm sure, isn't it?
Yes. It's very much implied that it's one of those rich small towns where everyone knows everybody and you know who not to cross.
Sounds accurate so far.
Well, Eddie's storyline, I think his was the most entertaining, to say the least. I said he's a realtor up in Nantucket, which you would think, with that being the case, they would be rolling in the dough. But they are not. Eddie has made very bad financial decisions. And it's so bad that he has like 3 houses that he's trying to renovate and then rent out. But he ran out of money. So what he's doing is he has his cleaning ladies. He has like a group of cleaning ladies that clean all of his properties for him. He's basically pimping them out to his wealthy clientele to get extra money on the side.
Because that sounds like a great idea. I'm out of money. I'm going to pimp out my cleaning ladies.
Exactly.
But it's not even, oh my God.
Now, I will say it's consensual. The cleaning ladies are down for it because they obviously get money and tips from the clientele. But
I mean, that does make it better, but still,
Yeah.
like, you woke up one morning and you were like, I'm going to go to my cleaning ladies. I'm going to see if they want to be ladies of the night. I was trying to think of what word I could use without us getting dinged. Ladies of the night.
So with Eddie running his pimp business, we have Grace in love with her gardener. We have Madeline trying to write a book. We have Hope hating her sister and everything that she's doing to Brick and just basically messing everything up. The rumor mill is just a churning. At one point, they think that Hope is actually dating Brick and cheating, like Brick is cheating on Allegra with Hope. And it's all just a hot mess of garbage. That's what it is. This is a good lesson. Don't gossip, everybody. Just don't do it.
This is a hot mess of garbage that is making my brain hurt.
But the book ends. Eddie gets caught. He goes to prison. I didn't really understand everything that happened. I think they pulled a Geneva Rose and just kind of made up the laws they saw fit.
Well, I mean, it is a small town, and as you and I both know, they do be doing that.
I know.
I mean, I'll give this author that one.
Yeah, I didn't really understand how all of that worked out. Benton eventually leaves, but it's not for a really good reason. I'm not going to spoil that whole storyline just in case someone else wants to go read that, because that was actually kind of sweet. Like, cheating is no, obviously. Don't do that. But like the thought process behind what happened with Eddie, because Eddie eventually found out, like, it ended on a sweet note. And surprise, surprise, Allegra has like a really good character arc at the end, and she's actually like a somewhat halfway decent human being.
Well,
and then I will
my
say
brain
at the
just
very
forgot how to
end,
think.
at the very end, the last point of view is of Nantucket and just the people. And it kind of reminded me of like a movie where you hear them just talking about other rumors that are nowhere near true. But it's kind of like a movie where it just like zooms out at the end, where you're like so focused in on the town the whole time, and it just kind of zooms out to Connecticut and then the US and then the world. Like, that's how I envisioned the book ending.
I actually really like that, because then that goes to show that, like, that's how we ended up. This whole book. That's how everything in this book ended up, was all because of the gossip. I mean, you said the name of the book is called Rumor, correct?
Yeah, it's called The Rumor.
Or The Rumor. So that just like adds, and I think that is pretty genius. I'll give Hilderbrand that. I've also never read any of her works. Working in a library, I have seen a bunch of her stuff, but when you gave me her name, I will say I was like, wait, she's like the queen of summer reading? I didn't know that. Because the last time I worked in a library and or bookstore, the big summer reading person was always like Nora Roberts, Nicholas Sparks. It's been a while, boys and girls. I'm trying to think of the others, but yeah, like those are the people that I was thinking of. one of their. No offense, not reading either one of those. So
yeah.
there's that.
So that was my rundown of the rumor. Like I said, I did not really enjoy it. I think I gave it 2 stars because I will say, like, it was well written. Like, it was well written enough for me to keep going. But there were just too many points of view. There was way too much going on. Like, I needed just one storyline, not like 4.
Yeah. I was following you as you were explaining everything, and I got it. But I was also like, my head kind of hurts right now.
And like, normally I can read a book in like 2 or 3 days. This one took me like a week. And it's not even that big of a book.
That's probably because you were having like problems with it like that. To me, that indicates Bianca's not enjoying this.
Yeah.
My other indication would be Bianca's really busy, but I can tell by the way that you explained it that it's definitely a Bianca did not enjoy this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so if you want to check it out,
Sorry, go ahead. No, you're fine.
I was just going to repeat it. If you want to check it out, it's called The Rumor by Elin Hilderbrand. It's Elin.
If you've ever read any of her books, I'd be curious to know. Because as Bianca said, she is listed as kind of like the queen of summer reading. So I'm curious if you enjoyed her other works, if you've read them. So
now I'm excited about your take on the book that you chose, because I have read this one. And I've watched most of the series.
I have not. I actually have not. I want to. It just came out, so I did choose what I think of as typical, which is like thriller mystery as one of the main summer reading genres. And I went with a book that Bianca actually read a few months ago, and I think I don't know how long ago you read it. Was it this year or last year you read it?
It's sometime. Hold on. Now you got me questioning myself. Hold on.
Recentishly, while she looks up when she read it, I chose because I'd been wanting to read this, and when I did my little Google Foo search, it is as a summer reading book. So I went with Laura Dave's The Last Thing He Told Me. If you are a mystery thriller fan, especially if you like suspense, if you're a fan of like Ruth Ware or Lisa Jewell.
It was this year.
Who else?
I read it this year.
This year. Okay. So I decided I was picking it. It was actually the Goodreads Choice winner for Best Mystery and Thriller of 2021. And as Bianca said, it is now was it a Reese book? It was a Reese Book Club pick.
Yes.
Yes. And she's the one that brought it to the small screen. Correct, Mundo?
Yes.
I think. Yeah. So I ended up giving it 4 stars. To go ahead and throw that out there. I really enjoyed it. I had some moments that I did think like this could have been left out, or like, why are you telling me this? And I didn't particularly love the ending, the very ending. I won't spoil that, but that's just to let you know like that. I loved and had a moment with the very, very ending because we skip ahead to the future.
Yes.
In the very final chapter at the very end. What I do like is the relationship that you see developed through the book, but then the surprise, like, hey, I was like, what? Ugh. So the general premise of this book is our main character, Hannah, is in a very happy marriage. She has a stepdaughter named Bailey, who I think Bailey really does care about her, but she's an indifferent teenager is the word I would use. And she's still kind of adjusting to the new relationship, but everything is great. Her husband, Owen, actually works for a fantastic company. Sounds like financially they're doing really, really well. And they explain that to you pretty quickly. But Owen disappears. What I think like within the first chapter of the book. He manages to smuggle a note not only to his wife, but to his daughter. 1 year they've been married, right? Yeah, they've only been married a year.
Yeah, they're newlyweds.
And the note that he smuggles to his wife. But I do love that pretty quickly, despite the like confusion and fear that is going on, Hannah knows who he's talking about, and that is Bailey, his daughter, who is 16. She has lost her mother, so it's not like they're fighting for like, well, I'm going to go live with my mom. You're not my mom. But it happens pretty fast. You launch into what is going on. Owen has disappeared right before they find out the company that he works for is being raided by the FBI and the SEC, which, holy crap, that's a lot. The CEO of the company and several of the senior level employees have been arrested. Owen essentially is what we're configuring at that moment, does not want to be arrested. And then adding to that mystery with the note that Hannah gets, Owen's daughter Bailey discovers a very large bag filled with cash that her father left for her. And this kind of really confuses Hannah and Bailey both, and they're both trying to figure out what happens. And she ends up enlisting the help of her ex, which is part of the book that I didn't love. Their interactions were just weird.
Yeah, I agree.
The legal help from her ex, it was just strange. And then a U.S. Marshal, who I also was very unsure of when Jake popped in. I was like, this is odd. I didn't trust him for quite a bit of the book. Just like, I don't know about you, but something felt off about him.
Which one?
Initially. The U.S. Marshal that shows up and is like, just
Owen?
tell me. Yeah. Jake?
Yeah.
Is it? No. Owen is her husband. Jake is the ex?
Wait.
Owen was the husband.
Oh.
That disappears.
Well, then I forget his name.
Jake is the lawyer ex. Yeah, I can't remember. Good, because he actually plays a huge part in the book. But this U.S. Marshal shows up. 2 FBI agents shows up as well, but they're kind of like of no consequence. I think you only ever hear of them or about them like one other time. But they all show up looking for Owen, and she realizes there's something more going on here. So she starts talking to Hannah, she does speak with the agents, and she talks to Hannah, and she discovers that Owen may have more going on than she thinks. I think she's like, wait, maybe he's witness protection, like something isn't right here. And after discussing it, Bailey and Hannah decide they're going to go to Texas and they're going to do some investigating of their own because they think that Bailey and Owen have a connection to Austin, Texas. This is where things kind of, in my opinion, I did give it 4 stars, but this is where I was kind of like, I don't know why you're telling me some of these things.
I agree. I felt like that at this point too.
Yeah, I was like, so it was very fast paced, like quickly, super quickly. He's missing. Like, they tell you the backstory also very quickly of how they met and fell in love and how it was very kind of a fast paced relationship, engagement, marriage, move in together kind of thing. So all of that happens really fast. Owen leaves really fast. Like, initially, it's all within the first and second chapter that you're. So then we get to the point where they're in Texas. I felt like there was more information than needed to be, and suddenly we're dragging. Like, I don't really enjoy when a book goes fast, 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 slow.
Yeah. When they first get to Texas, it drags.
It does, and literally, she's kind of like dragging. Her and Hannah are dragging each other all over the city. Or Hannah and Bailey, rather, are dragging each other all over the city. Bailey, of course, has a meltdown because she's, like, certain that this is where she came with her father at a specific age. Telling her, like, everybody they question is like, there's no way you were here at that time. We weren't, because she remembers going to a wedding at a specific venue, and they show up, and the lady's like, it's not possible. We were closed, and Bailey's not wrong with what she's remembering, but she's not exact on her details, which she would have been like, what, I think 5 or 6, 7-ish when this happened. And she's 16 now. So like 10 years have passed. She was a little kid. Like, but they discover he really does have a connection to the city. And the two of them end up tracking Owen to the university professor that he had, which leads them then to a woman named Catherine Smith, who is actually Bailey's mother, and Bailey is always known as Olivia, actually. She died when Bailey was extremely young, and her father just told her this is how she passed, and her name is Olivia. And that's all you need to know. Like, I gather from the writing of the author that they probably had open conversations about her mother, but there was probably also a point where he, like, didn't tell her more because of the story. I'm trying to be vague in this book, because you also gave it 4 stars as well, correct?
Yes, I did.
It's very good, but we do discover who Catherine is and that Olivia is not her mother. Her name is Catherine. What happened to her, or like how it happened and how Bailey comes to play in that, and that Owen isn't exactly who he told Hannah he was. But I can't say I was surprised. I don't know about you, because the way that Hannah, he's not in witness per se. This doesn't ruin anything, I don't think. Skip ahead if you're afraid what I'm going to say will ruin it. He's not in witness protection per se, actually. He's really not. But I assumed with how much she kept, oh, maybe he is, oh, maybe he is, and she was just insistent that her husband was a good man, that had to be the case. So I was a little thrown off when it wasn't exactly the case. Does that make any sense? I'm being so vague here.
Yeah, no, the reasoning for the relocation and everything, that kind of fell flat for me.
Exactly.
Like, it wasn't some big conspiracy like the book kind of built up to, and I think that's why it doesn't get a full 5 stars.
Especially when the people that, or the reason, the people, we can say the people, the reasoning and the people behind why the relocation happened for Owen and Bailey, then pick up with, like, well, we've always loved Bailey. Like, we cared who she was and where she was and what was happening. So that fell flat for me as well. Just the straight, like, pick back up of Hannah marching in and being like, this is what happened. I know this is what happened. It's okay. That's your so-and-so, and you're going to love her. And I was like, what? Very odd. I don't know if you felt the same way.
As like I said, once we hit Texas, I feel like the book just kind of like plateaued. Like, there were a couple of little humps of like, oh, that's interesting, but nothing actually like really for real happened.
And then not until they're going to leave Texas, and then all of a sudden it like ramps up again, and you're like, well, shit. And then it works out. Like, Bailey becomes missing. Like, they get into a tiff. She's a 16-year-old girl. This is her stepmother. Her father is missing. Neither one of them still really know why. Like, I think they're just starting to put the pieces together as of to why. Hannah is also leery as to how much to tell Hannah as well. Or, excuse me, I keep confusing their names. Dear God! Hannah is also leery of how much she should tell Bailey, because she is still trying to treat her like she deserves to know, but she is 16 years old. Like, she is still a child. So she's starting to piece it together. And in all of that, Hannah decides, I'm going to let her have a moment. And they go in, like, not separate rooms of the hotel, but one goes, locks the door, and the other one's in the main part of the hotel room that they're staying in Texas, to both cool off, have a moment. And when she comes back out into the room, Bailey's gone. And she doesn't know if Bailey has been taken or if she's run away. And then, like, so it picks up super, super fast. And then with, I don't know what, Bianca, maybe 10, 15 pages, Bailey's located. And you're like, well, that was
very anticlimactic.
Yeah. Like, they find her, and you're very into, like, where is she? Is she okay? But then when she finds her, it, like, tapers off again.
Yeah.
But then their relationship does start to build. And I did really enjoy the found family aspect of Bailey and Hannah. So I'm kind
because
of just
it's pointed out that since Hannah never legally adopted Bailey, she's not like technically her guardian. Like until Owen is located.
Scare.
Yeah. So until Owen is located, they could potentially take Bailey for, I say they, like the system. They could take Bailey for like whatever reason. And they basically tell Hannah, if you just like behave, you can keep Bailey. And that was like a big draw of the book, was Hannah trying to convince Bailey to not leave, that she can take care of her just as good as Owen can, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I did enjoy that aspect. I enjoyed, like, I kind of qualify it as like a found family book, even though it's a mystery thriller. And it does, in my opinion, come out with a happy ending, which I also enjoyed. I really enjoy watching them grow together as well. I just didn't like the story of like why Owen, who actually has a different name, and why Bailey, who actually also has a different name. Like, that part felt flat to me. Overall, though, I think Laura Dave, the author, is a good writer. I would definitely read other works of hers. I did give it a 4-star. When she was talking about the legal system and stuff, and like stock markets and like why these people were being investigated, she knew her stuff. Like, she did. And somebody that really knows it may say, no, she didn't. But I, as myself reading it, I felt like she actually knew. It made sense, like the FBI showing up and asking questions, but not considering her a suspect, and the marshals showing up and her being like, why are the marshals involved? Like, the questioning was where it needed to be in the very beginning, at least, with the FBI and the marshals and the SEC and all of those things. Like, her commenting on like their assets had been frozen because he was also under investigation. But they didn't consider him a suspect, is what they kept telling her. So, like,
can I also say that as a Southern woman, whenever it said the SEC, I had to constantly remind myself that they are not talking about football. They're not talking about the Southeastern Conference. They are talking about a business-related venture that I know nothing about.
What's funny is I love me some SEC football and games in general, but I still also, for a moment, I went SEC and I went, oh, duh, stock market. Like okay, got it. Like, it took me like one time. At first they said SEC and I was like, what? And then I went, duh. Yeah. So
no, I did that every single time.
Oh, really?
Every time it said SEC, I was like, why are we talking about football? The joys of being raised in Alabama.
Southern. I am curious now, and I am Googling what does SEC stand for, even though I know, because I want to see what pops up first. I want to see if... Okay, it does pop up. So, Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yeah.
But you go right on down, and then immediately its top stories are about football. So Google even thought... Google even had it too. I will be watching the show. I think that it could be fantastically done, especially with Reese in command. I know I was really vague, but because I want people to read it, I didn't want to like be super spoilery with my book. You had the opposite. You didn't want to be super spoily because, you do want people to read it if they're into it, but also you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
and I will say I've watched the first 3 episodes of the show, and it's pretty true to the book so far. I still need to finish it, but I really like what I have seen.
I will say, as someone that has read this, and you as well, and I've read other books that are similar, I could easily see a movie or a television show, especially based on television shows that I enjoy. I could easily see this working.
Yeah.
So I would say if you've never read anything of Laura Dave, but you like Lisa Jewell or Ruth Ware or Gillian Flynn probably also enjoy this book. It did have moments, as Bianca and I both agree, fell a little flat. But I think you can get past those because there are enough enjoyable parts about this book. I did waver on a 3-star and a 4-star because of the parts that fell flat. And I think a lot of times people think 3-star means bad. And in my opinion, it doesn't. A 3-star means that I liked it. I enjoyed it, but something kept me from like really loving it. 4 stars means I really loved it.
For me, 3 stars is like mid. Like just plain mid. Like it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was mid.
Okay. Yeah, our 3-star ratings are a little different then. My 3 is I liked it, but I'm probably not necessarily gonna like read it again. And I may or may not, if it was a series, go forward. It's not, but I did really like this book. I from the author. Have you read anything else of Laura Daves?
I have not. That was my first Laura Dave book.
Okay, same for me. I will like to see what else she puts out because I know a lot of times with mystery and thriller authors, like there have been some Ruth Ware books that I love most of her works, but then I've read some of them and I'm like, I liked it. It was okay. It was good.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if maybe her other works I'd be like, oh man, I really liked this. I just didn't love that one. I am excited to see the television show because I feel like it would compute really well and possibly, I dare I say this, might be better as a television show.
Well, where I got to in the show, they just got to Texas, so I will let you know.
Mm-hmm. I have plans of watching, so there is that. But there is that. So that's our beach reads. I hope you enjoyed them. We have lots of questions this month, and since we do have so many followers, I would like to see engagement if you have time. That would be great. So what are your favorite beach reads? And if you've read either one of these, what do you think? You don't have to agree with us. That is okay. Because as I've said 1 trillion times on this show, not every book is for everyone. And you should not yuck someone's yum for what they read. But when they do read and they do purchase things, they should share them with all. You got any acquisitions this month, Bianca?
Yes. Well, let me do my recent reads first. Before I get to my acquisitions, because one of my recent reads was also what I would consider another beach read. It's called Postcards from Summer by Cynthia Platt. It is a YA book, and I kind of wish I had chosen this one for the beach reads because I thoroughly enjoyed it. The only reason I didn't is because I always take notes for books that I know I'm going to talk about on the podcast. I did not take notes for this one, so I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm going to talk about this one. And then I get into it and I'm like, brain dead. But I thoroughly enjoyed Postcards from Summer. It was what I wanted from beach read. It was cute, mostly lighthearted, easy to pick up and put down. It is a chonker, though. It was how many pages without the discussion at the end? Let me get to it.
Wait, it has a discussion at the end? I really like that.
566 pages.
That is a chunker, especially for a beach read.
Yes. But it was very lighthearted, easy to get into. It has a very pretty cover. I actually bought this last summer and never got around to it. So I was like, I'm getting to it this summer. It's going to happen. So after I read the rumor, I was like, well, that was kind of disappointing for me. So I picked up this one and it was so adorable. It's about a 17-year-old girl named Lexi who her mother died quite a few years ago. She was just a baby. She does not really know anything about her mother. Her father does not mention her ever. So she kind of goes on like this summer quest to Mackinac Island because that's where she knows her mother spent a good chunk of her summers. That's where she believes they used to vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So she just goes on a quest to find out more about her mother, and she ends up finding like this chest that used to belong to her mom. And it was a really good, heartfelt story. It was so cute. I gave it 4 stars. The only reason I didn't give it 5 was because it was a little long. Like I said, 566 pages for a YA book. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I would recommend
it's classified as like a YA beach read. That is long, but
yes.
you know.
My other recent reads that I'm going to mention, I finally have my first of the few 5-star books for the year. It has finally happened, everybody. I read.
We got a lot of burrs today.
I read 3 books back to back that absolutely blew me away. They get 5 stars. The first one is called Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. It is another mystery thriller. It centers around this couple that has won a giveaway to this like old castle, basically, up in, I can't remember if it was in Scotland or just in the middle of nowhere, England. I honestly don't remember.
It's somewhere in the UK.
Yes. But they win this giveaway and they go up and just mysterious things start happening at the castle. And it's told from both points of view of the wife and the husband. You also have some letters that are written throughout the book to the husband. And they were very telling letters, let me tell you something. Like, I was like, ooh, what you did now?
Like spicy?
No, it's not spicy. It was more like, what happened in your past? What has brought us to this moment? Type stuff.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I did not see the end coming. I thought I had it figured out. I did not. I didn't know a single thing.
Love that.
It literally, I had to set the book down. I was like, what?
She's like, oh, hold me, Jesus.
So, 5 stars, Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. My next 5-star book was A Door in the Dark by Scott Reintgen. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry, Scott. I will say I posted this on, I can't remember if it was on our podcast Instagram or my personal Instagram, but Scott liked it.
Yeah!
Scott knows I exist. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. I don't know if I would classify it as YA, maybe new adult. But it centers around, I describe this book. This is how I've told everyone. I have recommended this book to everybody that I know. Imagine if Hermione went to a magic university and something happens. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but something happens and she is suddenly on this grand quest from a Tolkien novel, but there is a creature from Stephen King chasing her.
I need this.
It was so good. He is writing number 2. It's called Whispers in the Dark, I think.
What is the title again for the one that you just read?
A Door in the Dark. It has a very pretty cover.
Okay. Yes, must find it.
It was so good. I cannot wait for number 2. I'm kind of surprised he's doing a sequel because, like, while the ending of A Door in the Dark, like, he could have ended it there, but I can also see how he would proceed with a second one. But I would have been happy with it ending the way it did. But I'm still excited for book number 2. 5 stars, A Door in the Dark by Scott Reintgen. My
the
final
Waxways series.
Oh, so it's gonna be a series. Okay, cool. My final 5-star review that I have read so far this year is actually an ARC, an advanced reader's copy that I got on NetGalley. For those that remember, I think for January we read thrillers or something. I don't remember exactly what month, but I did Rachel Hawkins, The Wife Upstairs. This is her newest book. It will be released in January of 2024. It's called The Heiress.
I love Rachel Hawkins. so much.
It was so good. I read this book in like 16 hours. Like, I did it technically over 2 days, but it took me 16 hours to read it.
You are a speed reader, though. I will add that caveat. You are a speed reader.
The Heiress is about a couple, a husband and wife. They live out in Colorado. He gets an email from his family in North Carolina saying that his mother has passed away along with his uncle. They both kind of like, I won't say passed unexpectedly, but it's not like mysterious that they died. Like, it was kind of expected. They were old and whatnot. Anyway, so they have to go back to North Carolina to take care of family business. His name is Camden. He grew up, he was adopted by a woman named Ruby. And she was basically like the queen of her town. Everyone adored her. They were like the Vanderbilts, basically, just in a smaller scale. Like, they owned half the town. Everyone knew who they were. They had all this money. And Ruby has done some questionable things in her life. She was married 4 times. She did not want her sister to inherit everything after her, so she adopted Camden kind of out of spite. And we kind of also figure out Ruby's like whole life backstory through letters that she has written. It was so intriguing. I was literally hanging on every word that Rachel Hawkins wrote on this page. Everyone needs to check this out. It is being published in January of 2024.
Cool.
Now that I've gotten those out of the way, though, I am currently reading How to Be Eaten by Maria Adelmann. I just started it, but from what I can tell, it's kind of the premise of the Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix.
Okay.
Where you have all these women from like the fairy tales who have survived their fairy tales, and they're kind of going to group therapy together. And they're each telling their stories. But I don't know some of these women. Like, obviously, there's Ruby, who is supposed to be Little Red Riding Hood. And there's there's a couple of other ones that, like, you know who they are. But then you have Bernice, and I'm like, who the heck is Bernice? And then you have a girl named Ashley, and I'm like, who is Ashley? But Ashley,
you know, I am very into like retelling, so I will be adding this to the list for sure.
But Ashley also gives me strong Alexis from Schitt's Creek vibes.
That's the book you were talking about in our group.
Yes.
Oh.
Like, every time Ashley speaks, I just hear Alexis's voice go, "Ew, David." Now I'll go over some of my acquisitions because June was my birthday month. So I treated myself. I think I treated myself a little too much.
Nah. No such thing.
Now, I will say I did win a Goodreads giveaway. Thank you, Goodreads. So I did get The Puzzle Master by Danielle Trussoni.
Okay.
I did not purchase that. It came in the mail for me for the free. Very big thank you to Goodreads for that. Now, these are the ones that I did purchase with my own money. I got The Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. It has gold sprayed edges. It has a very intricate map on the inside of it. The cover is completely different from the standard cover. Like, I've always wanted to read this book. I just put it off. The cover and the sprayed edges sold me. Next, I picked up Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. This is a Reese Witherspoon's YA book club pick.
Interesting.
If you can't tell, it's supposed to be a take on Cinderella, Tokyo Ever After. Ha ha ha.
Nice.
Next, I got The Forgotten Book by, I'm going to mess this up, Mechthild Glaser. I honestly don't know how to pronounce that first name. I apologize.
It's okay.
But if I remember correctly, this book is supposed to be about a girl who uses books to literally escape. Next, I picked up one that I saw you reading on Goodreads, and I was like, that sounds cool. I want to read that. And I think you've mentioned it on the podcast before. It's called The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell.
I just... Yes.
Yes. It was on sale, so I picked that up. It has, like, from what it was described to me as, it sounds like if Master Chef was taking place at Downton Abbey.
Kind of. It's set in America. It was described to me as, hang on, I think, do I have the copy right here? I don't remember. But the cover said something like, or you have the cover. Doesn't it say something like, if there's a little blurb on the top corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if the Great British Bake Off and something were merged. I can't remember what it says.
Oh, Clue. There it is. This delicious combination of Clue and Great British Bake Off kept me turning the pages all night.
Yes, that's what it was. That's what sold me. I got my copy from the library, and when I saw it was a combination of Clue and British Bake Off, I was like, I'm in. Check out.
My final acquisition. I randomly picked this up at Barnes & Noble, and then after I picked it up at Barnes & Noble, it literally went viral on TikTok. Every other scroll on my For You page is this book now, and I'm like, well, dang, I wish I would have read it as soon as I picked it up. I know. It's just kidding. I'm totally kidding. It's called The Wishing Game by Meg Shaffer.
Okay, I haven't come across that one yet, believe it or not.
But this one, it sounds kind of like Knives Out, where it's about Lucy Hart, who she's basically down on her luck teacher who's basically broke. She needs to make money. This very wealthy man in the town has passed, and he's allowing anyone who wants to come compete for his fortune. So she's like, heck yeah, I'm going to go compete. So to me, it sounds kind of like Knives Out.
Or Inheritance Games, Knives Out. This is, I'm here for this. And apparently, this is her debut novel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wishing Game is her debut novel.
But yeah, like literally the next day after, I had never heard of this book, and I picked it up at the store, and I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I'll get that one. Literally the next day, my For You page is covered with this book. I'm like, what? Well, how do you know?
It is available right now you can enter on Goodreads for a giveaway. I just entered. It ends in 14 days. I don't know when our recording is going up, but even if it's not, just check, because it seems to me very common that when things are up for giveaway on Goodreads, even when it ends, it's like a week later, it's up. Another copy is up, it seems. So yeah, check it out. Maybe it's still there.
So tell me about some books that you've read recently and or acquisitioned.
So to add to my 5 stars that I've had this year, because, I've had a couple, which I'm very happy about, that I'm getting some 5-star reads in this year. I finished and I'm sure, again, I'm going to apologize immensely for butchering this person's name. It's Delemhach. That you have to put like a strong emphasis on it that I just don't have, because I don't have that accent. So I apologize, sir and or madam, because they're very, that's one of the things is, no, we don't know. They may not want to be sir, madam, but I finished book 2 and 3 of The House Witch, which I raved about on here before. And books 2 and 3 also got 5 stars from me. They're fantastic. This warmed a part of me that I didn't know I needed warmed, if that makes any sense to anyone. There's romance, there's fantasy, there's magic, there's witches, there's humor. It's got cozy mystery vibes. There's lots of talk of food. It is an adult book. I think a lot of people assumed it was YA. But not, this series is just phenomenal, and I think more people need to be talking about it. Bianca and I are trying to get our TikTok going, and I am like so scared of being a book talker. We've talked about why on here before. But when I can finally get the courage to make up my video contribution for the TikTok, it will be about the House Witch. Because, hands down, the series is phenomenal. If you like any of those things, like cozy fantasy romance, I highly recommend the series for you. There were some parts in book 3 where I had to stop and I was like, did I get ahead? Because it did like something happens. There's like a drunken incident. And so I guess in true of like, if that happened, like when the person sobered up, it like jumped back. And I was like, wait, what? It's because he didn't remember that part happening. So that threw me off for a second. But other than that, like I really didn't have any really gripes and complaints. The food they talk about in here, though, you will be hungry. Like, you will be hungry.
I'm already hungry, so it's okay.
I'm sorry. There are, I guess it's like a spin-off series. It's 20 years since though the 3 books have taken place, called The Princess Potential. So they do still fall under technically the House Witch series is what I'm gathering. But there are 2 books I will be moving forward with. Loved these immensely. There is no times that I can remember, or if they are, it's like very brief. And it's not like just extremely descriptive or anything. There are adult relationships taking place, but not in like it's not like a Sarah J. Maas ACOTAR or a Fourth Wing or anything like that. It's just what adult relationship should be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they're very, like, they're fine for you. I think you would actually really love them. I think if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, you would also really like these. I know they're not the same, but you get the same cozy vibes that I get from reading Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
So, loved them. 5 stars. I did finish The Golden Spoon because you are going to read it. I won't go too much into it. I went back and forth on 3 or 4 stars. When I first put in my review the other day, I gave it 4 stars. And then I went back a couple hours later and I took it down to 3. Because there were some parts of this book that there were chunks of this book I absolutely loved. And there's a twist at the end, which you get in most mystery thrillers, that part of what happens, saw it coming. Another part of what happens, kind of speculated, but they made me believe that that's not what happened. So that was kind of cool. But there are just little parts here and there that I didn't enjoy. I will go ahead and tell you, every chapter is told from a distance. But what I do like is it reminds you of what's going on. Like, it seems a little different than the one that you just complained about, in the sense that it carries forward. Like, it still meshes well together. It's not like specifically like you have to necessarily remember what this one said or what that one said. It may have one of the contestants like chapters, and then the next one, the personal would be like, I don't know why they're acting that way, but you do, because they just told you why they're behaving the way they're behaving to the other person. So I like that. It does really give you Clue/Bake Week vibes, or not Bake Week. It's in the book. It's called Bake Week, British Bake Off. It is all set in America. I love that all of the contestants vary in age and vary in backgrounds. I think you're really going to enjoy this book. I did give it 3 stars, but I would highly recommend it as well. There were just some things in it that took me out of the book at moments when I was reading that really is what made me go back and change my review. So I did really like it. I would read more from Jessa Maxwell. I think this is another one that it was her debut. I've noticed that's a lot this year, is that I've been finding a lot of debut authors, and I really kind of like that. So I recommend it.
Okay.
the inevitable death that happened, I was like, oh, okay. No one's going to be sad, though, that the person that ends up being the unalived person.
Yeah.
You're not going to be sad about it. But how it happens, you're like, oh. For a moment, you're like, ugh. And then you're like, okay. So, 3 stars for that one. The other 2, 5 stars. But I would recommend absolutely all of them. Obviously, I'm going to gush way more about the House Witch. If you've read any of the House Witch stories, DM me. We must talk because these are fantastic. And I want to tell Delemhach that you need to keep writing, please. Just keep doing it because you're fantastic. More people need to know their name. I have behaved really, really well in the acquisition department this month. I actually have. I even did not purchase any books whatsoever from Prime Day, America or German.
What?
Yep, I did. I didn't do it.
Is this Miranda talking?
I know it. I know. I did not purchase anything from Prime Day book-wise. But I did purchase a book the other day because the Instagram algorithm, and again, I'm doing this thing where I'm holding the book up like you guys can see. One day, maybe Bianca and I will do these things like turn our cameras on. Maybe one day. I'm not making any promises because like right now I'm enjoying having no makeup on and my hair looking like a mess. Just full transparency. But the Instagram algorithm knows me oh so well. And for those of you that don't know, I am a Formula One fan. Team Red Bull, no questions, duh. Anyway, I'm a Formula One fan. And the other day, I came across this young lady who wrote a Formula One Bianca No novel. And I was like, excuse me, ma'am, you wrote what? I'm going to need that, please. So, her name is Shanen Ricci. She's probably does not know who I am and is never going to hear this, but that's okay. But she wrote a book called Significant, and it literally is a alpha undefeated Formula One with a dark enigma, a man who trapped her into an agreement book. And while there's some like stereotypical stuff happening so far, I'm here for it.
I just pulled up the cover, and I can tell by the cover that's a Bianca no-no.
The cover, well, I don't know if it's the same cover that you get. I don't know. I ordered it over here. Let's look.
It's black and white with a man like whispering in a woman's ear, and the woman's back is to me.
No, that's not the cover I have. My cover, actually, it's like this weird faded out version of a Formula One car because legally she can't put a Formula One car on her book. And it's like different shades of like pink-ish. I'll send you a picture.
I'm going to send you a picture of this one.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking it up on the Goodreads. But I'm going to send you a picture of this one because actually you can post it on our Instagram. I was reading this while watching the Formula One race the other day, and it just made it hit so much better. It was fantastic. What I love about Miss Shanen Ricci is, ma'am, use of being able to skirt around not getting in trouble by the FIA and Formula One is phenomenal, and I would like to compliment you. Like, she can't obviously say, like, if you're into Formula One, you know one of the big names is Lewis Hamilton, that is, like, a big-time driver, and she does this thing, like, right off in, like, chapter 1 or 2, where she calls the guy that her main character is, like, competing against on the track that day, like, his main competition for the day, she calls him, like, Louis Harmel, and I'm like, she has you know, it's like those people that they write like a Disney fanfic, but they don't call them like Cinderella.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, that's like a story that belongs to anybody because it's on the open domain, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I was like, even if I end up not liking this book when I finish it, the fact that she's already like found a way around saying things that she can't say for legal purposes is pretty ingenious, if you ask me. Because it also doesn't take you out of the story. Like, if you know anything about Formula One, you already know what she's saying without her saying it. And I'm like, that is genius. So, if you are one of my fellow Formula One girlies, which I have found a bunch of you on Instagram, hey, and if you're also one of my, do we call it smut? Is that allowed? Well, my husband calls it. Actually, my husband refers to all of them as vampire smut. And I'm like, well, sir, this one is a Formula One driver. There's no vampires in here. And that's what he calls all of it. Anyway, not yucking anyone's yum, as I said earlier. If you into this, I think you're going to love it. Oh, and Bianca, guess what the book does? The physical copy.
Does it flop?
It's floppy!
For those that don't know, Miranda has a slight obsession with books that are particularly floppy that will allow you to like place the book on a table and you can just flop it open and it stays open.
It stays open. Yeah.
Me, I'm a hardcover girly. I'm bougie.
Hardcover girly. I like when they flop. It's also because when I'm sitting on the train, they don't like keep flipping back. Bloop, bloop. Yeah, I love it. Fantastic. Go purchase that. My other acquisitions are all from the library. I have one that I started. You actually shared it on our Goodreads already. I am like 45 pages in, and I am in love with Francesca Flores' writing. This book is called The Witch and the Vampire. It's a beautiful book, cover-wise. This is another one I had never heard of Miss Flores, and I apologize that I have not. I don't even know if this is like a debut book or if she's never come across her. This is technically a Rapunzel retelling. You can tell right off the bat. She does have other works. So, interesting. Looks like she has 3 works at this time. It was in the YA section, and the cover, I know we're not supposed to judge books by its cover, but in this day and age, covers mean everything, where they used to not mean as much. Covers are pretty big, and it is gorgeous and stunning. Check out our Instagram. It might disappear, so I'll resend you the photo. Maybe we'll post it as like an actual picture. Like I said, 45 pages in. It is incredible. It is, if you like world building, she's already doing a really good job of it. But if you're one of those people that you could do without world building, I think you could also be fine skipping over it. Her use and description of the type of vampire in her book so far is pretty cool. I like the witches and how it's like the type of witches. It's not like your normal, what I'm used to witch. And it's just so far beautiful. And I'm hoping that next month when we record, because I obviously have finished it by then, I hope that I can continue to gush about this book. Right now, like I said, 45, maybe too early to say, but if it continues in the pace that we're on track to have another 5-star over here. So it is considered young adult fantasy too. So there's that. The other 2, I don't have a whole lot to say. I have not opened either one of them. I think you have read one of them already. It's a TJ Klune in the Lives of Puppets.
That's the one I have not read.
That's his newest one. It is. My library had it on the shelf, and I said, swipe, before anybody else said swipe. I think I'm the first person to check it out. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm over here trying to do book ASMR, like everyone enjoys it. I enjoy it. Everyone else may not. I've heard great things about it, and I know that TJ Klune has slowly become like a household name. I think he also kind of started as a hype author, in my opinion. That's how I found TJ Klune, was Book Talk.
I found him through Kelly, actually, our giveaway winner.
Okay.
She loved House by the Cerulean Sea. I think that's the title of it. She would not stop gushing about that book. So I read it and it was very good. And then I read Under the Whispering Door. That one was also good.
I actually haven't read any TJ Klune yet. I own House in Cerulean Sea, but it keeps like, I keep looking at it and I'm like, I feel like I need to be in a, because it's kind of a tome.
Oh, is it?
Isn't it? Maybe I'm confusing it. Anyway, well, I don't, maybe not. I don't know, but every time I look at it, I also hear that if you're a crier, you're probably going
you're going to bawl your eyes out, but in a good way. It's in a good way.
In a therapeutic way. So I have just not been ready to go there yet because I knew that was coming. So I'm going to start with In the Lives of Puppets because we've talked about this before, and I do kind of love how we reference prior episodes that we recorded. But in the month of April, we did a special episode about autism or being on the spectrum in general. And my son is actually autistic, and I have been told by many that it never explicitly says in The Lives of Puppets but that there's strong indicators that the main character or one of the main characters, I'm unclear on that because, like I said, I haven't started it yet, is autistic, and that you can definitely tell. And I think TJ Klune, he came out in an interview and even said that he would have liked to have done more in that realm, but felt that it wouldn't be perceived correctly, which I can appreciate him stopping and saying like,
well, see, that's
I know what I'm talking about. But
House in the Cerulean Sea is. I think the main character of that book is also autistic.
I will definitely have to check it out. I really love when you can find all the positives and have such a heartwarming book. And I've been told pretty much everything of his are very well loved. So that is honestly why I decided to go ahead and get this one. One, because the library had it on the day. Like, she was putting it out that day, and I was like, yes, please. And two, I was really excited to read like a heartwarming tale about a person with autism because, you know, my Caden is my whole world. So I like when they're happy. This one, I don't know how happy it's going to be, though. It's called Pretty Dead Queens.
Okay.
The cover really made me think of Pretty Little Liars. I was a huge fan of the Pretty Little Liars book series and the television show as well, that are not the same. I kind of picked it open and flipped through it, and it does look like through a couple of times in the book you have like text conversations, which I also find intriguing. But it says twisty, imaginative, and highly addictive, a thriller to die for. So it is a YA book. There's a lot that goes on. Apparently, her 17-year-old Cecilia goes to live with her estranged grandmother, who is a celebrated author whose Victorian mansion is creepy as the murder mystery she writes. So it sounds like her grandmother is like maybe a combination of like Anne Rice and Ruth Ware, because she writes murder mysteries. Or maybe it's Agatha Christie. Who knows? On the surface, the life is utterly ordinary in California coastal town until the homecoming queen is murdered. And she's not Seaview's first pretty dead queen. With a copycat killer on the loose, Cecilia throws herself into the investigation, determined to crack the case like the heroines in her grandmother's books. But the more Cecilia digs into the town's secrets, the more she worries that her own life might not have a storybook ending. I was dun. Yeah. So again, you may not be, I know some people are like, nope, I just don't do YA at all. But it looked very intriguing, and I'm here for it. So I'm also very proud of myself for lack of actual purchases. But yeah, I have a giant pile from the library. Utilize your library, boys and girls. Utilize Libby. I will briefly say I had a discussion with somebody the other day that said, they're big readers, and they're like, we don't even have library cards to the library in our town. And I was like, what? You're such a big reader. Why would you not? Especially the access. She's like, well, we're e-readers. And I'm like, then Libby is your life.
I will say I went through the books that I've read this year. I went through the list.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the books that I've read have come either physically from the library or I've read it through Libby.
Yeah. So
There's
I definitely
very
think,
few that I actually own.
like, listen, I won't lie. If you're a person that's like, hey, keep me from buying a book, I am not that person. I am not the person that you say, don't let me buy this, because I'm going to be like, treat yourself. Like, I am, especially when it comes to books. But I also think there's something like so powerful about utilizing your library, whether that be a college campus that you work on or you attend, or your local library. And I will tip, I think I've said this before, if your local library, like right in the town you have, doesn't really have the funding to get a lot of the newer things, or they get newer things and they get checked out and you can't ever get anything, one, see if your library is connected to Libby. I don't know of any at this point. There might be some really small ones that aren't. But one, see if they're connected. But two, also look into going to the town next to yours or the biggest town next to yours, because a lot of times for a small fee, like I did this when we lived in Ozark, I actually went to Enterprise and was like, we've exhausted the children's section. Can we be a member here? And instead of it being free because I lived in the community, I think I had to pay like $25 a year till we actually moved to Enterprise. And then they were like, oh, well, it's free for you now. But you can go to like the bigger towns and get a card for like a donation of like $25, $30 a year for your whole family to have access to maybe newer books or more books. And I find that fantastic. So
We do what we can.
we do. It encourages reading, which I will go ahead and kind of spoil next month because I want you guys to be thinking about it. But encouraging reading, a lot of times in school, there is required reading all the way from lower elementary to high school and even college. And Bianca and I next month are going to take a look and have some discussions on what required reading we maybe never did read or that we really loved. So send us your thoughts. We'll pop up some little options throughout the next few weeks to tell us. If you're in the Goodreads group, we will add as soon as we decide exactly what we're reading. And if we're going to read the same book or not, we'll pop that up. And so if you want to participate in reading with us, you can do that. Also, we said big thank you to everyone that has joined us on Instagram, but also a big thank you to everyone who has joined our little Goodreads community. We're quite small, but I'm still super appreciative that anybody would take the time to go over there, because it's a few extra steps to join like a community on Goodreads than it is just like following someone on Instagram. Both are hugely important and both take time. I'm just saying I really also appreciate those people that have done both or one or the other. So thank you. Lots of thank yous this month. You got any more thank yous or anything you want the boys and girls to know?
Well, we just have a lot to be thankful for.
That's fantastic.
If you want to potentially be a part of this little community that we are growing, follow us on Instagram at Bells with Books. I think we're just Bells with Books. I always check. Why do I always second guess myself?
I don't know. It's just like another podcast I do where every time I go to say the title of the podcast, even though I've done it for like a couple years now, I get like all worked up. I think that's what it is. You're like, I'm afraid I'm giving improper information.
It's Bells with Books podcast.
Okay.
Look us up on there. You can also follow me personally on Instagram. I'm at @StylinFreak. Also, follow our TikTok.
Yeah.
Miranda and I figured out that we can both have access to TikTok.
Yes.
So follow us there for potentially good book stuff. I posted my first, I call it a slideshow. But it's, if you like these Taylor Swift songs, then you'll probably enjoy these books. I think, what are we on TikTok?
Hang on, and I will pull this up because I think it's the same as our Instagram. I think when I created it, I looked over. It's Bells.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. It's odd. Didn't know it did that to me, but it's okay. So on the TikTok, we are Bells W Books Pod. So Bells with Books. It just took out the with. I don't know why. If you want, we will share this on our Instagram so that you can say hi. But if you can't find it and you want to follow us, which we would love, message either one of us, either on the book podcast Instagram or our private Instagrams, or even either one of us on TikTok, and we will send you the little share this profile link so that you can follow us. I'm very proud of you, though. I will have to say, I thought for our first official TikTok, only having the few followers that we do, 347 views on your Taylor Swift is really good.
I have what the people want.
You have what the people want. They didn't want what I posted. No, mine was very basic. It was just an introduction to us. It was nothing fancy. But yes. So check us out in all the social media forums, technically just TikTok and Instagram. We're trying to keep it simple. YouTube, we do have our first episode listed up on the YouTube. There was some editing issues. So 2 and 3 didn't get taken down, but they wouldn't process. So I am still working on that. Go follow us there on YouTube as well. Maybe to promote those, we can come up with some other giveaway. But in the meantime, thank you so much to all the authors that made the first giveaway possible. Thank you, everyone, to join Instagram, Goodreads. Thank you to Kelly for sharing us and bringing some of the likes that we got. I'm so glad that you were our winner. Everything should be to you shortly. And thank you guys for just listening to us in general. That's what keeps us going, besides the books. Obviously, books is what brought us here. You are what keep us here. So until next time, keep reading.